Hi, this is J.R. Reidinger, and today I'm going to discuss an amazing concept and business opportunity. Now, you may have just seen the Market America UnFranchise business opportunity, or you may be an unfranchised owner and are occasionally asked questions that you do not have the knowledge to effectively answer with confidence. Or you may be a growing, successful unfranchised owner and leader and need to be able to answer these questions for your partners in order to train them and duplicate knowledge, confidence, and success. Now, I'm often asked how I came up with the Market America concept and how it was created or started. And it's a pretty amazing success story in itself and explains why it is an idea whose time has come. It's really the solution to understanding the Market America business model and why it's the entrepreneurial solution for average people and people who are looking for a solution to develop a long-term residual income and financial independence. Now, sometimes when people see the unfranchised business plan, it seems too good to be true. Have you ever heard that? Why was this never done before, people ask? And the answer is quite simple. There's never been a tracking system like this or a model to do it. So it just was never done. And so the logic behind it and how it works and what makes it unique are very important to understand. And I think that when one hears how it evolved and how it was created, it starts to make sense and become believable. So it's important, in fact, it's essential to understand how it's different than and how it's superior to other business models such as affiliate marketing programs, direct sales, network marketing, MLM, mail order or direct response, business opportunity investments, franchising, or traditional brick and mortar businesses even. Now, later on in this series of counseling and coaching sessions, we will study the structure, dynamics, philosophy, as well as the systems and technology that is necessary to make this model and system work. And that will lead to a discussion of best practices. And I'll be your personal guide and coach through it all. Now, we've just finished a very important resource document called the UnFranchise and Binomial Manifesto. It's been a long time coming. This is a comprehensive textbook and reference manual on the reasons behind everything in our business. It explains why it works and how it's different. It explains how we are different from other businesses. And it elaborates on the mathematical and legal reasons why things are structured the way they are and how they ensure your success if you follow the system that you're supposed to follow. And it explains in detail why there are requirements and tracking mechanisms and how they all work together to strengthen your business and actually make developing a residual income easier and sustainable. It becomes apparent that they are your best friend and you wouldn't want to do the business without them. Now, in this series and in the UnFranchise Binomial Manifesto, there are additional lessons on very important things, such as how our program appeals to everyone and benefits everyone because it saves everyone money shopping online. So at the heart of the program, we can provide people anything that they want or need and are currently buying. So it's about saving money, which equals making money. Everyone wants to be involved because of this. And that will lead to the shopping annuity where they can convert spending into earning. Just imagine that, converting spending into earning and develop a residual income as a result of converting your spending into earning. We're in the process of changing the way people shop, and this will make history. Now, the shopping annuity is a revolutionary tracking system, and it's not MLM. So how could someone confuse it? Converting spending into earning is at the very heart and soul of what our business is about. The two tools that make it possible are the Home Advisor and Shop Buddy, and this makes it a no-brainer that everyone should do. And you'll see this unfold as time progresses to become so easy and transparent that everyone will do it. It'll become addictive. Then we're going to have a lesson on the difference between binary programs and those which I consider counterfeit or copies of our structure on paper in a diagram, and the binomial MPCP. Now remember, we invented the binomial system, which some people call binary. So don't confuse the two. Learn how they are diabolically different. I invented the binomial system some 21 years ago, and many have copied it and call it binary. They look the same in a diagram, but they don't work the same. They're not the same. So another very important topic that we're going to do a lesson on is what they say. Isn't it amazing some of the things that people say? Objections and the answers to those objections, so that you don't get caught up in some crazy question that you can't answer and it sounds like you don't know what you're talking about. But all the misconceptions, preconceived notions, and stereotypes that you'll hear about because people are uninformed, and the facts about them and how to answer or deal with them will set people straight. It'll get people to see the light. Well, that includes things like preconceived notions and misconceptions such as pyramids, networking, Ponzi schemes, MLM, and scams. What are they, and what's the difference here? And then we have one of my favorite topics, requirements. Requirements and why they're necessary and why they make sense and actually are your best friend solidifying your income. And how we've continued to simplify the program and business through automation, technology, and having a simplification consciousness. So let's begin by my sharing with you the genesis and evolution of the unfranchised system and binomial system, or the MPCP plan. I believe that it's a solution or answer to most of the problems and obstacles that I ran into as an entrepreneur and a distributor in the marketing industry, especially in direct sales, marketing, and networking, and multi-level marketing, or MLM. Understand from the get-go, however, that Market America is not MLM or network marketing, although it may have evolved from it. It's kind of like, one of my favorite analogies is in music. Years ago, we started out with vinyl records, and I used to collect them. Then it was LPs, and then they came out with 8 tracks, and soon it was cassette tapes, and then it went on to CDs, then the iPods, then the MP3s, and then to streaming. But they're not the same, but they all play music. You see, streaming or MP3s are a far cry from a vinyl record or an 8-track, and they should not be confused. It's kind of like a mom and pop store is not the same as a chain store, and that's not the same as a franchise, and that's not the same as a superstore, and that's not the same as an online shopping site or experience like Amazon or Shop.com, but they're all in retail. The model is quite different for each one of them. And our model is strange in some ways because it's a hybrid between internet marketing, franchising, one-to-one marketing, and direct sales with a network aspect. There's nothing else like it. So there's nothing that it can really be compared to. Now, actually, Market America was originally started out of my frustration with the mass marketing industry in general, and the belief that there was a better and more efficient way to introduce products into the marketplace and to market or distribute products on a repeat basis. It's basically the result of 18 years of frustration, disappointments, realizations, epiphanies, dead ends, mistakes, and several magic moments that resulted in the genesis and creation. Now, I guess to some extent it was an accident, but when preparedness and opportunity collide on the playing field of frustration, something great can happen. And that's what happened here. It may have been an accident, but it definitely wasn't luck. Now, I was involved right out of college in direct sales, network marketing, and motivational marketing. And that led to experiences in as seen on TV marketing, cosmetic and image consulting in salons, motivational and sales training, catalog marketing, direct mail, infomercials, direct response, and product development. Now, that was a tumultuous and adventuresome 18 years. So I guess you can say I swam with the sharks. It was thrown in the gauntlet right from the get-go. Now, I was educated as a scientist and biologist and got a job with the government as a marine biologist and found it to be disappointing and disillusioning. But it took a life-threatening experience at sea to shock me into reality and to get out of the proverbial rut. And that led me to an escape trip in Bermuda with friends where I discovered what entrepreneurs were when I asked who lived in those mansions on the sea and those beautiful yachts. I was actually looking at Ross Perot's house at the moment. But to make a long story short, I returned home complaining about jobs and claiming to want to be an entrepreneur and to someone who actually picked me up hitchhiking from Kennedy Airport. And he challenged me and said he had a way that I might be able to do it. Of course, that event was life-changing, and as he came to show me the concept and the program, he sold me a ticket to a seminar that set me off on a miraculous journey that resulted ultimately in Market America. So that was my introduction to entrepreneurism, residual income, and the introduction to marketing, which was initially in the direct sales industry. Now, after 18 frustrating but financially rewarding years on the marketing roller coaster of ups and downs, followed by 2 financially devastating experiences resulting in starting over, I had developed a fundamental belief based on experience that mass marketing was upside down and inside out. There was a better, more efficient, and effective way to introduce products into the marketplace. And I saw and believed that direct sales and network marketing had the potential answer to that, but was flawed. Now, the concept of one-to-one marketing possessed me, along with the belief that there was a real need for an entrepreneurial opportunity at the grassroots level of society and our economy. Now, I believe, and I've always believed from the beginning, that the greatest power in the world is not nuclear energy or governmental or military power, but people power and the fundamental desire to do better and to carve out a better, more secure life for oneself and to do one's own thing. I believe that if you could harness that power, you could change the world, and I still believe it passionately. Now, I had arrived at this belief that the traditional mass marketing model was inefficient, an inefficient caste system, and an antiquated paradigm. Store marketing and mass media branding required millions of dollars in advertising or hundreds of millions of dollars in branding to market and distribute the product. Intense competition for shelf space in stores wanted products that were only advertised. And it was a vicious cycle of trying to get a product into a store. Distribution required huge inventories and distribution centers and warehouses, more cost. Furthermore, it was inefficient. 50% to 65% of the cost of the product was in advertising inventory, which didn't all sell and became obsolete, requiring deep discounts to liquidate it, and multiple shipping costs from center to the stores in the supply chain from manufacturer to warehouse to store exasperated the problem. The result was that this made it extremely difficult to introduce new innovative products into the marketplace, and it was more than an uphill battle. Something was wrong. I felt there was a better way. It required huge budgets and was controlled by a caste system where you needed to know the right people and favors were granted in a good old boy network who controlled it. Now, direct sales and network marketing provided an alternative that I gravitated to. I never forgot reading the federal court's administrative judge's ruling in the FTC versus Amway case in the MLM pioneers' favor back in the 1970s, as he echoed almost exactly what I've just said, that it was a necessary and viable channel to foster competition and to allow new products to be introduced into the marketplace in a controlled market. So he was referring to exactly what I was saying. So my journey preparing me for Market America and the UnFranchise was over 18 years as an entrepreneur, distributor, consultant, director, or executive in direct sales network marketing industry companies, including serving on the board of directors of the DSA for 2 terms. Now in 1991, I was at crossroads. I was a dreamer or a visionary and an idealist. I was trying to save another company for someone who wasn't listening, and I was frustrated. I would come home and tell Lauren, my 18-year-old girlfriend at the time, and now my wife of 22 years, another success story altogether, about my ideas and that there was a better way, and I would expound upon it and exuberantly and relentlessly. And it leads me to a story that was actually the spark that started the company. So I would rant and rave to Lauren, hey, there's a better way. I see the same problems over and over again. And the industry that I'm in, there's negative incentives, there's discouragement built into the program. And in mass marketing, advertising makes no sense. You really don't know what you even ever get for it. You put out the money, but you don't know what it really sold. And what if you knew what everyone wanted? What if you actually knew what everyone wanted in a database? Because I know one thing, people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I go into a store and a salesman comes up and says, can I help you? I don't say, yeah, sell me something. I usually say, I'm just waiting for my wife or just browsing or just looking, because we don't like to be pressured. We don't like to be sold. But when we want something, we want it. And we want to go shopping for it and we want to buy it. So why not find out what people are looking for, what they're shopping for, what they're buying, and instead of trying to sell them, provide them what they already want and are looking for. So what if you had a database of hundreds of thousands of people and you knew what they wanted, or they were communicating with you what they were looking for? So what if you built a database, collected this information, and you could see that it was 10,000 people or 50,000 people that wanted widget A, some magic gadget, or some marvelous lotion or potion that would make you younger, whatever the product may be. Well, you can go out and source it out and make it better, and we're already pretty good at that. And we wouldn't need large inventories, and we wouldn't need a huge $1 million ad budget, because you already knew who wanted it, and the product was already sold before you even came out with it. Then the people who would refer other people, you could track it and pay them rather than the advertisers or the marketers, the promoters, or the stores. And then once they had a good relationship, you could find out what else they wanted and continue the process, providing a person as many things as you could find out that they wanted. And she said, well, it makes a lot of sense to me. Why don't you just do it, big guy? Well, I was a little hesitant. I was a little timid. In fact, I was a little afraid to do it because it had never been done before, even though the idea made sense. So I would go through these arguments with myself. You know, it's an idea whose time has come. You really should do it. The world needs it. It'll change the world. And then another little guy would say, yeah, but it's never been done before, and you don't have the money, and you'll probably go bankrupt. And he says, yeah, but somebody's got to be the first one to do it. Yeah, but not you. If you do it, you might make a fool out of yourself. So have you ever gone back and forth through that type of argument? Okay, so right in the middle of arguing with myself, Lauren says, hey, listen, why don't you just forget it for tonight and let's go out to a movie and take a break. Well, anytime you're going to go out to a movie, or to a restaurant for that matter, you should always get a recommendation. Don't you agree with that? To make sure that you're going to have a good experience or find out what is good or what's great. Well, it's interesting because today we're an internet marketing company and recommendations is really what drives the business. But back then, there was really no internet services that gave you that information. So I started calling some of my friends, and just so happened that nobody was home. So we decided to take a chance and we went out anyway. And it's really risky to go out to a movie with me without knowing what it is or if it's good, because I have a reputation of leaving in the middle of movies because I can't stand to be scared or upset. And I'm scared and upset all the time. Why should I pay to be scared and upset at a movie? So we lucked out, however. It was an incredible movie that night. I can't remember what it was, 20 years ago, maybe Rocky II. I was in the moment. I was just lost myself, was laughing, was crying, having a great time. And at the end of the movie, even though it was an incredible experience, I couldn't wait to get home to tell people about it. In fact, I spent more time telling people about it than I did watching the movie. And, you know, people that I called all excited, they didn't act too impressed. Oh, that's nice, wonderful, whatever, very happy for you. But you know, a week later or a month later, when they wanted to go to a movie, they remembered my excitement and they ended up going to the same movie. And wouldn't you know it, they had the same experience. They got lost in the moment, they had a great time, and they couldn't wait to get home and tell people about it. So over the next months, over 300 people went to that movie because of my big mouth, and I didn't make a dime. And I even looked it up. The promoters and marketers of the movie spent over $20 million promoting that movie. I turned to Lauren and says, you know what I could do with that $20 million? You know, see what I mean? What if you knew who led to who and paid them and then found out what else they wanted? You could eliminate all of that waste and that advertising and have a much more effective model. And you can actually build an incredible business model out of just finding out what people want and people recommending and leading to others and monetizing it by paying them rather than the big advertisers, marketers, and all the distribution money and whatnot. So the interesting thing about this is it happens very organically, the same way people meet each other. Okay? It just happens naturally. And if someone gets caught up in the referral thread or in the line, okay, they're now incentivized to find somebody else. And it's pretty interesting because the same thing exists in the second thread, the same synergy. Everybody gets credit the same way, so it has the same economic glue and the same motivation and the same teamwork. So it's pretty neat that we actually saw that working. So fundamentally, we devised a system that requires 2 referral threads or distribution channels or lines where everybody in that line gets 100% credit for all the sales and orders coming in. Now this creates an economic glue and synergy and loyalty and teamwork that I've never seen before. They may be in a line that they accumulate significant volume in just by chance, just because somebody knew them. And all they need to do is start one more line or referral thread leading to people which has the same dynamic and appeal and volume credit as everyone had in the first one. So it's kind of interesting to see how the dynamics of this work very naturally, very organically. And it's really the way people meet people anyway and become friends. But what this actually does with the second line, is it doubles the production, which is only one more thread, one more channel, one more leg, one more person, expanding distribution, but doubling it. Now, one is very realistic and easy to do, and practically a no-brainer. And below that, the average person has been proven to be able to sponsor 2.8 people by the DSA study over 30 years. So we know that on top of all that, this is very realistic, and it's already been documented statistically to be something that people can do rather than what a company wants them to do, which is what all the other programs are based on. So we figured out how to pay the maximum amount of money on products sold by buying them in quantity or negotiating deep discounts on quantity, and distribute the margins in BV and IBV to UFOs based on having 2 lines or threads to unlimited people. Now, it's complicated math, and it's a complicated, sophisticated tracking system, and it's reconciled through requirements. But it's miraculous when you think about it. So that's where the 2 by 2 by 2 get 2 came from. So that's the genesis of Market America 22 years ago. Started accidentally from going to a movie and an epiphany about a better way to market based on one-to-one marketing and a new tracking model, which led to the Binomial MPCP and the UnFranchise system. So at any rate, all of this leads to the discoveries that I made over the years of what the repeating problems were in the industry. And I knew that if we could address them, we would have the solution and the greatest opportunity ever. So at the onset and birth of Market America, I was basing our model on what I knew to be true, from experience, from many experiences. And if no one else had done it yet, we had to do it. The reason I did it was because nobody else would do it. So everyone that I talked to agreed that these were the common problems, and if they were addressed, it would be a new paradigm and an idea whose time had come. And you can't stop an idea or a concept whose time has come. Now the point is this: after 18 years of successful experience in the industry, that the UnFranchise evolved from what I saw that were the same problems and downfalls that repeated themselves company after company. Now, I was always successful and became a top distributor and a top pen level for multiple companies, or the number 2 or 3 executive making a company thrive. I never was the number 1 executive because I was always doing it for someone else and would go down with the ship if need be. But I never failed with a program. However, companies failed me or pulled the rug out from underneath me because of the nature of the program or bad decisions. Now, I got to see and review literally hundreds of programs statistically during my 18 years, and literally thousands of entrepreneurial opportunities and direct sales or network marketing companies had come and gone. It became apparent that there was certain repeating problems or weaknesses, flaws, that caused the repeating failure. I was rather sick and tired of it. It was apparent to me that no one ever rethought the model or the system since the beginning of the industry in the 1940s. They were all spin-offs or variations of the same basic concept of what came before. So here it is. Here are some of the repeating problems that were obvious. The first problem centered on the phenomena of one product or one market companies. They had proven to have a limited life, ran their course, were vulnerable to competition and market swings, and often declined or evaporated. Now, in the information age, we need to understand that products or industries are born, explode, dominate, and disappear overnight. That's how rapidly things can happen. I mean, examples, I talked a little bit earlier about the record industry or music industry, how things have changed. I mean, you take a look at typewriters. A Fortune 50 company of Smith Corona, everybody had a typewriter 20 years ago. In 1 year, they disappeared. Poof. You say that's old? What about Kodak? That's recent. So this is a huge issue when the purpose of the enterprise entrepreneurially is to generate residual income. See, adaptability and longevity are the necessity to achieve that objective of residual income. Something has to last and it has to adapt to the marketplace. So quite often you would see a company founded solely on a single product or a single product line or a single market. Some magic or miracle product, a magic potion or lotion or miracle elixir, anything from a low to exotic berry juices and drinks, radiant barrier, or new miraculous water filters. And if the magic product was successful, it would spawn fierce competition. And other direct sales and network marketing companies did the same. Then it would end up online or in catalogs or on TV direct response and at a fraction of the price in large retail stores and retail store chains like Walmart. An example is water filters with NSA. They end up in Kmart or on TV and the price is undercut. What's a company to do? Portable alarms with Quorum had the same experience. Eagle Shield, a energy-saving radiant barrier. It exploded and then disappeared because you could get it at the house supply stores. So even if that doesn't happen, price wars drive down the prices to where a company that introduced a product and brought attention to it could no longer compete and pay commissions. So people get built up in a white heat of belief and exaggeration and hype as a result of these types of magic products. And sometimes it stimulates regulatory problems or an investigative press because they overdo it. And regulators need to justify their existence anyway to earn merit badges. So when they see something that's over-touted and over-exaggerated, quite often they're going to make an example of it. But beyond that, there's a limited market with one product or one product line. Not everybody's interested in one market area. It has limited scope. You see, people are attracted to what they love, to what they need, and what they're experienced at or what they're good at. And we want to build a residual income on providing an entrepreneurial opportunity at the grassroots level of our society in this country. Let's reach as many people as we possibly can with something that's relevant to them. So what it's really all about when we thought about it and came down to it is to have an opportunity at a grassroots level where the average person could derive a full-time residual income with products people believed in and needed. So the concept is to provide products or services that people want, that are market-driven, that are superior to that of in a store, or that are mass-marketed brands, and have products that people recognize as a real value, that are revolutionary, that are scientifically backed, that they can't get anywhere else. And then that drives the business and the income entrepreneurially. That's what we wanted to develop, and that's what we set out to. So the solution was a product brokerage company, which also made sense to add a shopping experience so that we could be 360 and provide people anything and everything that they wanted. But the focus was on market-driven products that people need and are buying. And it's based on market demand. People want them, so you don't have to sell them. And we wanted the opportunity to be totally retail-driven with repeat sales and regenerated volume from the bottom up. So I identified the main problems with other opportunities and plans. And the first premise, the first focus was we didn't want to have another one product or one product line company. We wanted to be a product brokerage company. And that would enable us to do one-to-one marketing better, because when we found what people wanted, we could actually go out and get the product or add the line and bring it to the people. In fact, it was the people and the distributors and the customers that decided what we came out with rather than us. Totally the reverse from how everybody else does it. So this would be people and people to product. We're able to match people to product and product to people. What does that mean? When we know that somebody has a problem or a love, they have a stiff knee, they used to be an athlete and run. And if we have a product that allows them to start running again, they're going to tell everybody about it if it works. And if somebody loves cosmetics, you can't tell them anything about cosmetics. But you say, hey, you love cosmetics, you need to tell me what you think of this, and they try it, and it's better, they fall in love with it, it's over. They're going to buy it forever. So that also allowed us to find out how many things we could actually provide a customer and build share a customer rather than market share. We're more interested in how many things we can provide each customer and find it for them that they love or that solves a problem for them, because it's going to be a continuity program where they order it over and over and over again. So this fundamentally led us to the mall without walls, if you will, where we identified 10 major markets that were billion-dollar market caps or above. And we added the Market America University to provide the support, the training, and specialized techniques to move those products, because quite often they were scientific products. They were products that were revolutionary. They were not Me Too products that you could find on the supermarket shelves, and they needed to be explained and marketed correctly, such as Nutrimetrics, which goes through doctors, or Conquer, which is about music, okay, or any of our product lines like Web Centers. You need to go through a training to be effective at it. So we provide that type of training so that you're a professional and an expert. But we had something for everyone and everything for someone. And we would move with the trends and be market driven. You could count on one thing. If there was a new hot trend, a new hot product that came out that everybody wanted, you wouldn't have to go look for a new opportunity, because it would come in under the Market America umbrella in the Market America Mall without walls. So the second thing that we addressed was the compensation plans and marketing plans that had negative incentives or limitations by creating the binomial MPCP and tracking system, where we have 2 threads or channels, legs or lines, if you will, per BDC. Now that's very realistic. And you can do that over and over and over again to develop an income, but in a vertical fashion rather than a horizontal fashion, which eliminates competition and creates synergy and cooperation of working together. And that's what the business is all about. So we found a way to use the smallest multiplier and be able to pay everyone in a line, but the smallest multiplier of production for the highest return. And that's the key to the program. And the next point, which was important, was we didn't want to pay on levels. We're not multi-level. We don't pay on levels. We wanted to have unlimited search to infinity if need be, to find volume to pay. So there's a compounding effect, because nobody's building outside of those 2 lines. Everything that they add will go down in the 2 lines, helping everybody that's building together, and that actually starts to multiply and create a compounding effect. So the accrual and accumulation of BV and IBV, and taking the time limits off, where it doesn't stop at the end of the month. In fact, it doesn't stop at the end of the week. It goes week to week to week, month to month to month, for a year with BV, and beyond that, unlimited with IBV, to make sure that you get paid. So it's not a question of whether somebody will get paid, it's simply a matter of when they will get paid. And there's a lot of things that they can do to accelerate that. And all the dynamics of the program work to make that happen. And the longer somebody's in, the faster it should happen. The only way it will not happen is if they quit. So you don't want to do that. So we pay weekly, or 4.2 times per month, which is 52 times per year. to increase the earnings on the volume. It just makes sense. If you're doing a certain amount of volume, say 50,000, you only had to do 10,000, and you could do 10,000 4 or 5 times and get paid on it, you're going to earn 4 times the money. But if you're only paid once on it and the threshold was 10,000, you're going to lose the rest of the volume. So this increases the ability to earn more on the same amount of volume production by paying weekly rather than monthly, and it's just a gold mine for those people who build a large business. And then we wanted something that would track customers and orders to your BDC, where you didn't have to handle them necessarily directly. And you could have a large customer base and a growing customer base, but you would own the customer base, although we ship directly. This eliminates the necessity to have inventory and to redistribute products. We do it all directly to the customer. This is 2013. There's no reason to do it any other way. And we ship directly to the customer and provide then metrics and a profile on them. By us dealing directly with the customer, we can build that database that I was talking about earlier, so that we can do one-to-one marketing and identify commonalities of products that people want that we can bring out to increase your sales, building share of customer rather than being interested in market share. How many things can we provide each customer? So with all of this, it's a vertical plan rather than a horizontal, which minimizes competition and maximizes cooperation. Senior partners are incentivized to build below their partners or you, resulting in a compounding effect of everybody that's succeeding coming down below to multiply their income. And even excess volume, when somebody is retailing and adding customers, the BV, they already made the retail profit, the BV or IBV from that, well, really the BV, if the excess volume is placed downstream, and it benefits every single person in that line on that team. This has never been done before. It's just incredible. And then we even have gone so far as to cap the initial payout to the top centers. People say, well, why would you do that? It's real simple. It ensures that the team that has gotten you there, that's doing the volume, is also going to make money, securing the residual income of the senior partners by the junior partners actually earning relatively rapidly. And then the senior partner can multiply their income by having multiple UnFranchises or re-entry BDCs that they place strategically down in their organization vertically, and it creates a synergy so powerful that I can't even explain it. You almost have to experience it. Because they're multiplying their income, but everybody in the line is getting credit for the volume, and they're actually not spreading themselves thin, but securing their original centers as they multiply their income and helping everyone that's in the line or on the team. So we also provide a master UnFranchise right from the beginning with 3 BDCs, because we know that people don't understand the program in the beginning, in order to leverage additional residual income. Because if you build the first 2, from that point forward, you only have to build 1 to have for each BDC to qualify for another weekly check and residual income. So that allows you to multiply your earnings downstream, like multiplying franchises with re-entries. So re-entries kind of act like multiple franchises, and you can have as many of them as you want to multiply your income. Incredible program. So the third thing that we identified that was a widespread problem in the industry and prevented success was the lack of support, standardization, and uniformity in running direct sales or network marketing businesses. Now, our model was different. We were actually giving someone a shop.com in a box and a mall without walls and a total system to merchandise and build a customer base with. But a common problem in the opportunity entrepreneurial businesses was a lack of systemization, a lack of uniformity, a lack of training, a lack of support, a lack of tools. So we wanted to eliminate the confusion, the politics, the trial and error by simulating a franchise but eliminating the downsides of franchising by not having to have people invest, by actually paying them a royalty, and by allowing them to become involved with it anywhere in the country. And that became the UnFranchise system with the NMTSS, the Advisory Council, the Speakers Bureau, the online tools, the Market America University, the required trainings, requirements in the plan to make sure that people were doing the right things to develop profitability and stability, with publicity and growing visibility, things like meeton.com, the next matrix level digital NMTSS. And this is all very real and just not rhetoric. Now, I know you hear these things in other companies or opportunities, but it's mostly rhetoric, and it certainly is not enforced and run and promulgated by the company. This is at the very heart of what we're all about, the UnFranchise. And the shop.com in a box alone was valued at over $100,000 if it were being sold as a franchise. But we don't want people to have to pay that money. We rather invest and give them that type of value and that type of technology and that type of business that would cost $100,000 if it was a franchise, in order to make it accessible and available to the average person at the grassroots level of our economy, so that we can get many people involved entrepreneurially to change the way people shop and to change the economic climate around the world. And we believe that it's going to happen. And the fourth was to be a forward-looking company and move with the paradigm shift, if not lead it. And that is to be an internet marketing company and to lead the parade to change the way people shop, that there was a real opportunity here. People love to join causes, and people want to be in front of the curve or on top of the wave of where the trends are going. There's no doubt that internet marketing, internet shopping, online shopping, e-commerce, e-retailing is where the success is, where the growth is. And it's nice to know that you're at the right time, at the right place, with the right opportunity, with the right people. And that's what we wanted to provide people. And we are on the cutting edge of what's happening in the economy and in business. So it makes things possible that were never possible before. We're leading the parade and ahead of the curve with the biggest economic trend of the century, and at the right place, at the right opportunity, and at the right time with the right people. And that allows us to have the shopping annuity, where we're converting spending into earning, because we can provide people anything that they want to buy or anything that they need. And it also allows us to be able to attract thousands, even millions of customers from cyberspace. And that also allows for one-to-one marketing and add-on sales by identifying what people want and being able to match product to people. And that brings us to what Market America became and is today. The Market America and UnFranchise system that you know. Well, the next lesson is focused on the marketing plan and compensation plan as it relates to other types of programs out there. And it's important for you to understand what Market America is and how it relates to other opportunities or businesses or models out there, so that you are on sound ground, confident, knowledgeable, and can explain to people that we not only have the cookie that people want, we have the whole bakery. We're way ahead of the curve. We're not like other opportunities that they may have heard of, or people that they knew that were in things that may have had a compromised result. This is a different model, and you need to understand why it's the best.